My name is Julie Clark. I'm the founder and director of Doma International. We work across the globe with vulnerable moms and vulnerable women. And in the US, I knew I wanted Doma to really work with a population of women who were at risk for abandoning their children or that have already abandoned their children. And so I started my journey to kind of figure out in Columbus, Ohio, where we are, who is it that we are going to support. One week I got 3 phone calls from people who kept inviting me to this catch court. I finally listened and said, well, let me see what this is about. You know, Doma really isn't an organization that works in human trafficking. We're an organization that works in orphan prevention. And the judge had asked all of the ladies, you know, at one point at court, how many of you have ever met your fathers? And like 2 of them raised their hand. And then he asked them, how many of you were abandoned by your moms before you were age 5 or 6? And like 90% of the women in the room raised their hands. And then he said, how many of you who have children have custody of your children? And like not one hand went up. And it was like, well, here's our orphan cycle here in America. These are women that were orphaned when they were young, who now have children who they have orphaned. So what do you do when there's, you know, drugs and prostitution and addiction? There's just so many layers. And so of course there's a lot of gaps. So we came alongside of the Catch program and started training the volunteers, offering things like life skills classes. We started building a community.
When I was probably about 11, my mother was being brutally abused. I went into a fantasy. I started to look for things that make me feel happy, pretty. 16 years old, is when I got introduced to crack cocaine. That became the major part of my life. The guy that I had going to get my drugs, you know, he propositioned me. Like, well, you know, if you want to get high, you know, you do a favor for me, I'll do a favor for you. And one day the guy told this girl, he said, I want you to take her and I want you to show her what to do. And I went out there and I turned my first date. All of my morals, all of my dreams, all of my wishes, everything vanished. With the lifestyle came rape. I was attacked, drug in the bushes, left for dead. How I felt was that this is what goes along with the lifestyle. I'm not important, nobody cares, so don't report it. So then it was lying, it was stealing, it was abandoning my children, leaving my children alone, being an unfit mother. You know, I went out to make money. And I walked up to Cleveland and 25th. And there was this man parked in a car. I got in a car. He was a vice cop. He said, why do you think that you have no value or no self-worth? And I just dropped my head and I said, I don't know.
I was molested from like 4 to 12, and so I felt alone and confused and scared all the time and didn't have anybody I could go to. As a child, like, they would sell weed and they would like grow their own, and we all would get together and pick the leaves off the weed in my kitchen as a child. It was probably like 13 or 14 when I had my first drink. And it was so normal, like it was normal for all of us to drink. It was normal to drink and fight. It was normal to express ourselves through destruction. So I moved to Columbus. My main reason for leaving my world in Athens is because dope is easier up here. It's cheaper, easier to get, it's everywhere, and nobody knows me. So I can just do what I need to do to get it and move on. I can't have morals and values to do the things I need to do to get what I need to get. So those are gone. Like, that was all my world consisted of. As long as I had something in my pocket that I could get high on, nothing else mattered. I actually just instantly started street walking. Have my son with me, and so I leave him with people I don't even know, that I just met. I ended up with a pimp, and it was just crazy, crazy abuse that I had to be okay with so I could get high. So finally I had like, I think it's like 5 solicitings or so, and they introduced me to the Catch program.
I opened up. I opened up and I talked about the hurt and the pain with them, you know, and they shed tears with us and, you know, told us that we were worth so much more and that, that they was gonna help us. They was gonna love us until we could love ourselves. Love that had no cost. They didn't want nothing.
When Doma came into the picture, it was so unreal. Like everybody just wanted to give and their heart was so big that I didn't know how to take it. I didn't know how to accept it. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I've never had this my whole life.
Part of what the Women's Fund has done for us is afford us an opportunity to really take our time with the training and to spend 10 weeks with a group of people who wish to learn about what human trafficking and prostitution and drug recovery looks like.
Doma has helped me. I'm going into motivational speaking. I go out to the prisons and I speak to the ladies and I give back.
And it teaches me how to be a woman and a woman of grace.
We're helping to create future generations of women who don't abandon their kids, who don't get trapped into these cycles and get to this point where out of desperation, they're allowing themselves to be controlled by other people. So being able to teach volunteers and mentors this ahead of time will help lay the foundation they need to be able to journey with these ladies with understanding and without judgment and with just love.
Today it's like, let's go, let's live, you know? Brandon wake up and he'd say, is it morning? Even when the sun's down, it's morning. I'm like, yep, let's go.
Catch, Amethyst, and Doma is my foundation. And April the 8th, I'll be clean 2 years.
I get him every other week, about like 8 days straight, and then have to share him, but that's okay.
I look forward to supporting this for the rest of my life. I mean, you know, being attached to women that are doing something and that empowers me.